afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another National Anthem reaction video, where today, ladies and gentlemen, on this fine afternoon, we go north of Suriname, we go past Mexico, and we go past the United States, and we end up in British Columbia, otherwise known as Canada. Now, again, there's quite a lot of things at least the difference is that I have a little bit more context for things like Canada, because it's the birthplace of Justin Bieber, Michael Bublé, Felix XQC Langell, probably quite a lot of other people. And I know there's actually quite a long list of like famous Canadians. I know fine well there's a lot more out there than, again, just Justin Bieber and Michael Bublé. Michael Bublé is Canadian, isn't he? He's got to be. I'm pretty sure he is. But also, Canada has also one of its the best flags of literally all of them. And again, I would love to know, especially when we come to doing like the translation for this video, because there's a great region of Canada that speak in French. Although this is something that I sort of have an idea about, because I don't know if it's like all the way through like Quebec or Ontario, or if it's through, again, British Columbia, or basically all through the Northern Western Territories. Definitely nowhere near, Ellesmere Island, because that's basically almost on your way to the North Pole right there. But again, do they also go through it in things like Vancouver or Winnipeg? Again, I hear this. I didn't even realize Winnipeg was like so close to the border. And again, where is this? It's meant to be like South Dakota right here. It might be. US like geography is always like, it's sort of, you have a good idea, but then of course you got things like is that Lake Nantucket down here, or is that meant to be well, of course you got Superior here, and got Nantucket surrounding Toronto and Ottawa, of course, Canada's capital city. And again, it's interesting as well, but there's just how much of some of the major cities, of course. You got Quebec, your Montreals, your Torontos. Again, what is that? Thunder Bay sounds cool. New Brunswick, Halifax, and what's this? The Prince Edward Islands of Charlottetown. And again, this is just something for reference, and it's something that might come up when I go into more detail about Canada, is that there are actually quite a lot of reasons I would probably go to Canada. There's a lot of great reasons to go to Canada for, again, what looks like a cleaner environment, some beautiful scenery, free healthcare. I mean, again, this is something that hasn't quite caught on in the US. The idea of universal healthcare. But then, of course, you got just, again, I know I get lost in these sorts of things a lot, especially whenever I see any sort of like some gorgeous photography comes into place. But how can you even like turn your eye away from stuff like this? Like, a lot of people associate Canada as sort of like being in the wintertime, when basically the entire nation is completely coated in snow. But I reckon even during the springtime, Canada looks almost akin to something like almost akin to like maybe Hampshire, or somewhere, maybe Gloucestershire during the springtime, when things start to bud and the leaves, or even possibly even Hampshire during the autumn time, when the leaves begin to change and basically the cold begins to set in. I mean, guys, just look at that there. I don't know if this is like in more northern territory, but because I know as well, one other thing is that there's no short abundance of like wild bears that roam about in mountainous countryside, like in the Northern Territories. But just look at that, and even here, again, I will get to the national anthem eventually, but I sort of I'm a little bit lost right now, just trying to examine all this because it looks beautiful. And the only thing probably even more stunning, and just for the sake of like getting music involved a little bit, is the fact that for those that know, Canada is also home to the greatest prog rock band of all time in Rush. And if you've followed me for these last number of years, you will know I am an absolute diehard fan of Rush, and Neil Peart, God rest his soul, the best drummer of all time. That is something I might have to actually explore, because Neil Peart was more than just the guy who played the drums. He wrote virtually like almost every single song that Rush ever did. Well, with the exception of like the first album. And then there was like a couple of things on like Fly By Night I'm pretty sure he didn't have a hand in, but virtually every single thing else he did. And that's not saying anything less about guys like John Rutsey or Geddy Lee or Alex Lifeson, but Neil was like, he was a man ahead of his. They all are really, and it's hard to believe it's been nearly 4 years since he's died. However, with that being said, I know there might come a period in time, ladies and gentlemen, where I kind of like said this with Mexico's national anthem, where I sort of almost want to like dedicate an entire week to just doing stuff from Mexico. But do you think I should also do an entire week where I did stuff specifically from Canada? Because all things considered, there's no shortage of talent or sights or beautiful nature all across Canada. So doesn't it make a little bit more sense that we, again, and how can I even ignore Niagara Falls? That is like one of the most stunning, one of the wonders of the world, if ever there was one. I don't necessarily know if Niagara Falls counts as one of the wonders of the world, but it should. I'll put my stamp of approval on that. Or even just the Marriott Hotel. I hope there was like windows on the other side of this Marriott, because how could you build a hotel right outside Niagara Falls and have the friggin' the windows facing the other way? Who would do that? Because again, remember, I think I said this a couple of days ago, but when I was doing like Iceland or Greenland's national anthem, but imagine just sitting at your hotel window and you just got to watch Niagara Falls at dusk. Imagine how beautiful that would look. Anyway, feeling content and happy, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to dig into their national anthem, just called "O Canada." That's fair enough. It couldn't get any simpler than that. I like that. And if you guys will check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. And please rise, ladies and gentlemen, for the national anthem of Canada. Here we go. You know what almost makes that even better, ladies and gentlemen? Is that, short as it is, it says everything it needs to be said. And there's even, as I'm almost so like going through a lot of these anthems, is that I'm starting to notice a little bit of a pattern about the shorter, well, I say shorter, but there's sort of like there's a balance between roughly between a minute and 2 minutes. That sort of length is sort of like, that is it for me. That is like, because you could fit so much into that. And in the case of O Canada, respectively, it tells you everything you need to know about its the devotion and love that such. Imagine getting like a crowd of like 5,000 people to sing this, and it will sound like it will. Imagine how great that would sound. Because again, it just goes. It's simple. It's easy to learn, and it's something that a lot of people could just get involved in. It's not really one of those anthems where you don't even have to really be a resident of Canada, or just. It's about sort of like what it represents. It's about it's about being people of glowing hearts and being All right, that's interesting. Yeah, apparently Newcastle have got Sunderland away. Okay, that's first derby, well, rivalry in like 7 years. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, the true north, strong and free, and valor steeped in faith, and will protect our homes and our rights. It doesn't necessarily have to go into any detail, but it's just about, again, the representation of everything we fought for is something we have to uphold. We've got to be shining beacons of the Northern Hemisphere. That's almost like what Canada might possibly be in the eyes of so many people. It is a beacon of the Northern Hemisphere, and it's designed to shine a light for all those that live within it, live upon it, and for those who may not even live in Canada any longer. It's maybe because of its little bit of vagueness, you can only imagine sort of like what their homes are, but we stand on guard for thee. It is their land getting ready to protect, and I can respect that, ladies and gentlemen, and it's easy to see why. It's their land, it's their home, it's their people, it's their way of life, it's for them. I like that. So anyway, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video of O Canada, the national anthem of whatever else Canada. Please make sure to leave all your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys felt of the Canadian national anthem for yourselves. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.